which is called Gathering Weather Data. In this lesson, we're going to learn about how the different instruments that scientists use to measure the air and different things that we measure in the air, not just temperature, but also moisture, wind, and more. So go ahead, please, and pause this recording in order to read the goals for the lesson, and then press play when you're ready. You can find the student guide under the materials on page 3 of lesson instruction, and you may also find the ebook or the online book in the table of contents to read about this online. Gathering weather data. I'm sure you've heard of a thermometer, but have you heard of a barometer, a hygrometer, anemometer? We're going to learn about those right now. So when we look at a weather forecast, it can tell us about high and low temperatures. It tells us where the fronts are, wind direction, air quality, forecasts, and radar and satellite images. So there's a lot of information you can get from weather forecasts. And how do scientists get that? They use different kinds of instruments. For example, thermometers. Thermometers, as you know, measure temperature. Now, for each of these things, I want you to write down what the name of it is and what it measures. So thermometers measure temperature. And you may or may not know that there is liquid in the glass components in a thermometer. Make sure you know that the thermometer has liquid in glass components. The next instrument I want you to write down are barometers. Barometers measure air pressure. So we talked about high pressure and low pressure in the weather that they get. So make sure you know a barometer measures pressure. Next on your list is hygrometers. Hygrometers sound a little bit like hydro for water, and they measure the moisture in the air. Make sure you write that down. Hygrometers measure the moisture that's in the air. Rain gauges measure how much water has accumulated after a rainstorm. And we use radar to look at the clouds. Anemometers and Doppler radar. Make sure you know that an anemometer measures wind. It measures the direction and it measures the wind speed. Anemometers measure wind speed. Make sure you know that. Aerovanes also measure the wind. So there's two instruments that measure wind: aerovanes and anemometers. Doppler radar measures the storms. Make sure you know the word ceilometer. This is a word that means that it measures the height of the clouds. C for ceilometer, C for clouds. You want to write that on your list. Hint, this would be a great quiz question. Meteorologists use something called a radiosound to measure the upper atmosphere, weather in the upper atmosphere. So it's like a weather balloon called a radiosound, and it measures data in the upper atmosphere where we don't live. And satellites gather weather data with views of the surface and atmosphere, so you can watch a storm with a satellite. Computers help put this all together, especially the National Weather Service. So for this quiz, make sure you know all these terms: thermometer, barometer, hygrometer, anemometer, aerovane, Doppler, ceilometer, radiosound, and more. Know what they measure. Make sure that you know a thermometer has liquid and glass components, and that radiosounds can measure weather in the upper atmosphere. Good luck on your quiz.